Alright guys, let's talk about tea, specifically elderberry tea, and why it just might help you out of a hard situation. I want to clarify something, just kind of a disclaimer here. You know, for people who have been paying attention to my channel for any length of time know that my family tries to keep, what we eat, what we ingest, that sort of stuff. We're kind of conscious about it. We're not health nuts, we're not extremists, but at the same point in time, we like to try, pay attention to what we put into our bodies. And if there's a natural remedy versus, a pharmaceutical one, we will lean towards the natural remedy. However, I've had pushy people in my life as far as alternative or natural medicine goes, and that's not something I enjoy, and that's not something I would do to any of you guys. So I'm just sharing my belief here. I'm going to give you just enough to start your own research, but I'm not going to push it on you. So if you disagree, that's fine. But anyway, on to what it's about. Elderberries are full of vitamins A, B, and C, and a few other things that that are immune boosters, and there's also properties in the elderberry that actually help fight the flu. Some studies say it doesn't work as a preventative. Our usage would suggest that it does, but that could also be, like a placebo effect. I honestly don't care. It's worked in the past, and we're going to continue to do it in the future. I've had a couple questions when talking about various kits of mine, cook kits, get home bags, stuff like that. When I've mentioned that I carry dried elderberries for the purposes of making tea. There's other reasons for that beyond the purposes of this video, but I'm just going to touch on the tea aspect of this and why I choose to keep elderberry with me to make tea with. Just to get a couple things out of the way real quick, this is what I'm talking about. It's the package right there. I get this off of herbalcom.com. That is herbalcom.com. Last time I purchased this, it was about $8 a pound, which was pretty economical. It's been a while since I bought it, but when I did, this was the most economical place to get it. Now, if you want to see what the berries look like themselves, you can see through this Ziploc bag right here. Just little teeny tiny, almost look like a smaller version of a peppercorn, something like that. So, why do I keep that with me? Well, quite frankly, this goes back to the big flu scare of, I think it was, 2008, something like that. When they had, it was like every year they were coming out with, acronym of, H5N2 or H5N30 or, XYZ flu scare of that year. We had several close friends of close friends of the family that actually experienced that flu and had a nasty, nasty time with it. And somewhere along the way, my wife or I, and I forget who, came across a natural remedy that suggested making a tincture, and we decided to try it. And long story short, we had good success with it. Somewhere along the line, we moved from tincture to making elderberry syrup, which is kind of like making jelly, but you just don't take it quite as far. And so it's like a thick syrup, and think like pancake syrup, that sort of thing. Just a quick point of reference, there's a couple flu remedies that are available over the counter that are based off of elderberries. Sambucol is one of them. I probably ruined the pronunciation of that. And there's a couple others that are actually based off of elderberry. Elderberry is the base of that flu remedy, and even doctors prescribe it. So there is a genuine medical basis for this. So anyway, back to why I carry it. Like I just said, it's full of good stuff for you. It's full of stuff that will boost your immune system. So I choose to carry it because no matter where I am out and about in the woods, if I'm away from home, if I feel like I'm getting sick, I have something that's good, also good for me, and will also help me boost my immune system to help me get over or get through whatever sickness I have going on. Now, if the worst happens and I have to break out my get-home bag or whatever kit to actually get through a situation, if I start feeling like I'm getting sick, I can go through that, use the elderberry, and maybe by the time I actually make it home to my family, whatever's getting me down, maybe I won't bring it home to them. So anyway, that's why, and let me show you how I make it. Alright guys, first off, just got my bush pot here. I'll be honest, typically I use a little Stanley pot that I have, but the stove I'm going to be using today, the Stanley doesn't fit on, so I just went ahead and grabbed this. Now when I'm just making it for me, I don't really make that much. About a cup and a half, something like that. Now everything's eyeball, I apologize, I can't give you exact measurements, but I take my elderberries, this is a half a cup right here, and I just grab a handful. About that much, and I go ahead and put it in there. Now also what I do, this is my all-time favorite flavored tea. It's Egyptian licorice. I love this stuff. I drink it almost every day. Now licorice in and of itself does have some good healthy properties to it, which I'm not going to get into. You can see how those elderberries are already bleeding out into the water. The goal today here is not to overheat this. I don't really want to bring it to a boil. I just want to kind of bring it to a simmer, take it off the heat, and let it steep for about 20 minutes or so. Many studies suggest that if you overheat this, it does actually harm the beneficial aspects of the elderberry. That's a subject for another video, but for today's purposes, we'll leave it at that. So, let's put the lid on, get our stove going, and make some tea. Alright, we're approaching a simmer. I'm going to take this just a little bit further, and we'll take it off. Alright, we're starting to simmer here. Not a boil by any means. Going to go ahead and take the lid off. Yeah, there we go. Now, let's let this sit. Alright gang, see how dark that is? That is right where you want it. It's been about 15 minutes, something like that. So let's pour some out, let it cool down a little bit more, and we'll have a taste test.
Small pine cone broke.
My small pine cone broke, huh?
Yeah, of this one. Oh, the tea is brown.
It is. It's because it has elderberries in it, buddy.
Oh, elderberries.
Alright.
What?
Let this cool down to temperature we can actually taste it, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, one quick thing while this is cooling down. The reason why I added the Egyptian licorice tea to this is because the elderberries by themselves are very fruity, and I'm not a big fan of fruity teas or fruity flavors all by themselves. You know, I don't, in case you haven't noticed, I don't like a lot of sweet things. Now elderberry by itself is not particularly sweet, but it is overly fruity. It's kind of a mix between grape and cranberry, I would say. And while it tastes good, it's just, it's overpowering to me. You guys may love it. My kids love it straight up. So anyway, time for the test. And I have to say, it is yummy. I've had this before, so it's kind of hard to fake it. It's not a surprise. It is extremely yummy. The licorice complements the fruity-esque flavor of this very well. It kind of adds an aftertaste, you know, that after bite of licorice that kind of sits on the back of your tongue. It melds perfectly. It's something you have to try to really know what I'm talking about. That is some tasty stuff, guys. I encourage you to try it. But guys, thank you very much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your time. If you did enjoy this video, I encourage you to hit that like button. It helps me a lot. And if you didn't enjoy it, go ahead and hit that dislike button as well. But, you know, if you do hit either of those buttons, I would ask you to go ahead and hit the comment section and tell me why you did or did not like this video. I really enjoy the feedback. It lets me know what you guys like and what you don't like. And also, guys, if you want to keep up with what the channel's doing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. But, again, thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you on the next one.